with Final Fantasy 15 getting delayed by 2 months, how do you feel about Final Fantasy 15's progress / current state, and what are your general thoughts on how the game will be received? Is it a game we should hop on board the hype train for, or instead be very critical of after 10 years of development? So, like I said, much in the same vein as our Final Fantasy 7 discussion, but there's a few more things to throw in the mix, at least at this point. We might be discussing Final Fantasy 7 like this in 10 years' time, who knows? But yeah, it got delayed again by 2 months recently to November 29th, I believe. So about as far as you can push it back before getting all that Christmas money. And it's been in development in some guys for 10 years. So, you know, what are anybody's thoughts? So, how do you feel? How do you feel, Louise, about the delay of 10 years and the 2 month delay?
I'm not really surprised, but I'm not on the edge of my seat for it, so I don't really care this time.
No, I'm looking forward to it, but
I'll play it. I always do, but I don't know. It doesn't grab me that much this time. Parts of it are great, but the battle system turns me off big time.
Battle system turns me off as well. I'm kind of worried about the state of the game to some degree as well. Like,
I don't know. They've always gone to great pains to like polish it and make it
that's true.
as good as they can.
That is true, and they've clearly remade this game so many times. It's like from scratch. They must have remade it at least 3 times at this point. I have no idea why they haven't just thought on one of the other 2 attempts, just fuck it, let's just put it out. Clearly, that's what they've done this time. Regardless, let's just put it out is what they've thought.
I mean, parts that I've seen look beautiful and everything, and I'm sure it'll be.
It does look
good
pretty
enough, interesting. But yeah, I think I'll have to just grind through the battle because I don't think I'll be enjoying it.
Yeah, that's kind of an issue. You have to grind a lot in Final Fantasy games, and if I'm not into the battle system, that's going to kill me when we get to that point that's like a Calmlands-esque sort of vibe. Because it's all going to be about grinding for a while, and if the battle system's not fun for me, that's going to do my head in. Also, something...
I don't know. Sometimes in a lot of the games, there's ways to almost auto-level. Because if you've got certain setups that you can make, then you can have just people healing and keeping momentum.
You're right, there might be some sort of auto-battle system, which could be useful at some point. And also, something I heard about it recently is there was an interview with Tabata, the lead on the game. He was talking about how the game starts off very open and then becomes more linear as the game goes on, which is really odd, isn't it? It's a very opposite take to how things usually are.
I think you should take that with a pinch of salt because he didn't say that it would become closed off, just that the main mission parts would be like that.
I think in a way it could be a good thing
I assume there'll be travel.
Because you're going to want some sort of definitive story to it, and if it's very open world and a bit like like something like Fallout, there's story there, but it's not like a Final Fantasy story, is it? It's trickier to fit that in a more open world.
If you dither around and do side quests, you can lose the flow and stop caring.
Yeah, exactly. So it might be good to have a bit more on rails, not on rails, but more focused sense on what the story's going to be. That could be a good thing. So I'm looking forward to it as well. But the battle system, like we said, is going to do me. But the 2 month delay is a worry as well. I've heard bad things about frame rate and the battle system.
Originally they were intending to do like a day 1 patch for it. Because to fix little problems, glitches, frame rate drops and stuff
bugs
like that.
And stuff, yeah.
But then they apparently, I'm surprised in everything to hear it, but it's only something really small, like 40% of people play online. Most people don't.
That can't be true.
That's what I heard.
That sounds like bollocks.
And he didn't want it to be unavailable to offline people. Maybe it was in Japan.
I heard this as well. He also says though. He also says maybe it is. I mean, PlayStation Plus. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people don't have that. But not that you need it for this game. But anyway, the thing is though, he talks about how they won't need a day one patch, or they won't need a significant day one patch. That is just PR bullshit spin. I guarantee you, when the day, because they patch stuff anyway, they constantly patch stuff. When the day one patch hits, I guarantee you it will be no smaller than like 2-3 gigabytes. Sorry, it'll be a big patch. Yeah, I wouldn't be. I would not be shocked at all if it was like 7 gigabytes or more. You know, so him saying that is bullshit, and we'll see that it's bullshit when the day one patch hits, and it's fucking massive. So he's just trying to put a spin on it. I respect what he's saying, and to be fair, the patch would have been even bigger if they hadn't have done what they're going to do.
They
There will still be a day one patch.
in it.
Yeah, it's kind of how they do stuff, but how they do stuff needs a shake-up, because their American and European branches are putting the Japanese branches to shame, because they're probably putting out 3, maybe 4 games in the time it takes them to make a Final Fantasy 15 or something. It's ridiculous the time that they take. They're too interested in making their own engines and pretty demos and fucking cutscenes and stuff. It's like, we like that stuff, don't get rid of the cutscenes, but make the fucking game, okay? And then worry about the cutscenes and things. It's like, they spend a lot of time.
Everything's the same. Oh, it's got to be super beautiful, realistic graphics. Oh, it's got to be amazing, like quick time battle sequences and stuff.
Ugh.
Bullshit. The best games don't have to be super polished. It's about the mechanics.
Yeah, and the story and things like that. They're the things that
it's simple
grip you.
Can be just as good.
What about the bromance thing? Does that put you off? It turns me off a little bit personally. The whole dude bro group thing. It's a bit,
I haven't. I played both of the.
No, but 15. They're all dudes
the
in
demos.
It's all like bros. It's like, I don't know how well I'm going to relate to all these characters. Am I even going to like some of them? Because they're just.
Wacker called everyone bro, didn't he?
No, but they all.
Him.
No, they all. My point is, they're all like dude bros. Do you know what I mean? They're not like Oren wasn't that sort of person. Even Tidus isn't that sort of person. You take Cloud wasn't that sort of person. They're all very. It's all very like it's like a bro road trip movie or something. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
They're all in the car. So how does are you going to be able to relate to those characters, or does it not bother you? Do you think it'll be fine?
I'm not. The jury's out. I'm not decided. I'll wait and see how it fits. Are there any female characters?
There are, but they're not main characters. So there's like the woman.
They're not.
There's Noctis's love interest, which is some princess or queen or something. I'm not super up on it, so don't kill me if you are.
There's no female playable characters.
There's also that woman on the truck stop.
Is that right?
On like a truck stop thing. Well,
that's
what we've
gonna piss me
seen.
off.
There's no female characters that we've seen thus far. They could be, and they could be in DLCs, or they could be like spin-off sections, like how Laguna was in 8. But at the moment, we haven't seen any main female characters. So.
Well, that's shit.
As far as I'm aware,
There's always girls in them.
I know. So it's very bro heavy. So.
And it makes for dual characters in a way, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're like all dressed really similar. All that's defining them is different hairstyles.
That was kind of
like
an issue for me.
Pair of glasses.
I mean, you were talking earlier about how you started playing 12 again. There was only 2 characters that really shone for me in that game. Everybody else seemed very generic, and that was Fran, that like weird bunny woman. She was cool as fuck. And that what's his name? Is it Balthazar?
Balthier,
yeah. They were the only 2 that really shone.
Sky Pirates.
Shone for me. The rest all seemed very generic, and there's probably going to be a similar feel to this. I think I'm going to like Noctis, and the rest are going to seem super generic to me. That's how I'm thinking at the moment. So, yeah. I got another question for you. What if the release dates get pushed back? If they get pushed back again, how are you going to feel about the game then?
Like I said, I'm not that bothered. I'll play it when it comes, and I'm just not gripped for it or anything. I'll enjoy it, no doubt, but I don't think it'll be a favourite. So I'm easy. I don't care.
Yeah.
They've stopped. I can't put my faith in them anymore. I know it sounds pathetic.
I'm nowhere near as excited for this as I would be.
I've stopped caring about
Final Fantasy 13.
Because they don't do what I like, not because I don't like their games, but because the only really good one lately has been I liked 13 Part 2.
Yeah, I
It was very good.
I just never
It
got.
was.
I couldn't get back in that shit after 13 was just such a on linear,
Um,
on rails. You know, it just I just
mm,
completely lost interest in it. It's supposed to open up when you get towards the end, but if you have to play 40 hours or more of a game for the game to get like good, that's
mm,
not good enough for me. I'm out. Do you know what I mean? I got
mm.
time to spend on other things, not something like
It's
that.
not terrible. They never make a really truly awful game. I'll
No,
give them that.
no,
But I'm not in love with them anymore. I love
no, not.
them, but I'm not in love anymore.
The Final Fantasy VII remake might rekindle my love for it, but and my
I
hype.
think they'll spoil it.
Probably, probably. But the battle system again, it's going to be the most worry for me. 15 is going to be a litmus test for how the Final Fantasy VII remakes, battle system's going to be, because it's not going to be the same. They're obviously going to tweak it and do things and learn from 15. But if 15's battle system is shocking, that's going to worry me so much for 7, because Kingdom Hearts is so superior to that, but I wouldn't even want a Kingdom Hearts battle system for 7. Like, from what I've
No.
played so far, we haven't obviously played the game yet, so
I like Kingdom Hearts. I've played the crap out of both of them, but it's clunky. It's fucking clunky. The magic system is
yeah.
hard work, in my opinion. You can only assign a couple of spells to your hotkeys. It's clunky. It always has been.
The
I
new
think
ones
it's
like
just the other fantastic elements that make Kingdom Hearts good.
the new ones like using status effects to your advantage. Just you can't do that in Kingdom Hearts, really. You
No.
can sort of if you preset up your character before going in like a boss battle or something, but not in the same way you can, in What's It. What I would have liked to have seen is, fair enough, you've got this action time battle sequence, like real action, not ATB, but why not implement something like the VAT system where you press a button, you charge up your bar, you press a button, and it slows time down, and then you can scroll through and maybe throw a status effect on someone or heal someone or, Phoenix down someone or something. That would have been a good
I mean,
way
from
to
what I've
implement
played
that.
of the demos, the only downtime is when you're hanging from a goddamn tree or something.
Or if you back off from your enemy and maybe like your other characters are distracting him or something. But yeah, so you got any thoughts on this, V? You still there?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm still here.
What are you doing? Having a nap?
No. I don't know, like I've always appreciated Final Fantasy, I've always liked it, but I've never been like a die-hard fan, like, you guys have played all the games and stuff. I was looking forward to it. It does seem like...
Yeah, but you're a big Kingdom
I
Hearts
guess-
fan, right?
Yeah, I do like Kingdom Hearts.
So the battle system is supposed to be somewhat similar to that. So that, in a weird way, should appeal. You're the type of person they're trying to appeal to. The person who's
Yeah,
not
probably.
a hardcore fan, who's vaguely on the outskirts. Of
Yeah.
it. You're the person
From-
that does it strike your boat? Strike your boat because you're who they want by the sound of it.
Stroke my boat.
Yeah, does it stroke your boat or float your fancy?
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at it as a fresh game, like as a fresh concept, really, because I've not been an avid fan through the years. I've not played every game. I've not, hyped about it so much. So to me, really, especially in like more late years, I've become more of a regular gamer and more of like spending a lot more of my time on it and stuff. I think
Less
that
casual.
for a start it was a lot more casual and stuff, but now it's not. I am excited for it. I'm gutted that they put it back, but I'd rather have a game that's bloody worth it and it's a really good game.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm going to be spending 50-60 quid on it.
It's better they
rather
make
than-
it work out the gate than a hot mess that's just infuriating. Because if the gameplay's
Exactly.
average or just good, and then the game's a fucking buggy shit fucking mess, everybody's gonna have a
Exactly.
really bad opinion on it, even if the game's itself it's not that bad or it's even good.
Yeah.
Or maybe even great. It's going to affect how people think of the game. So I don't mind like a 2-month pushback, but with that, if it gets pushed back further and the game is, let's say, average at best, how would that make you feel about Final Fantasy as a whole and your opinion on Kingdom Hearts 3, which is the same team supposed to be working on it, and the Final Fantasy 7 remake? How would that make everybody feel? What would your thoughts be on those, on it going
I'd be
forward?
less inclined to I'd be less inclined to want to purchase it, most definitely. Because, like, you know, like I said, you know, £50-60 to spend on a game for me is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And as it is for a lot of other people. So if I buy one of their, you know, their products, their merchandise, whatever, if I'm buying that from them as a company, regardless of the title, and they've done a shit job, after a 2 month, I mean, I know you guys are saying about a 10-year wait, blah, 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 but I haven't waited that long.
Ridiculous.
But do you know what I mean? Still an extra 2 month thing on top of that, and it's crap, and then they want me to go buy their other game. I'm just going to wait. I'll wait till it comes out and it's cheaper or on sale or pre-owned or something. I'm not going to want to rush and go buy it, I guess. But
that's how I feel about it. I feel like if they sink Final Fantasy 15, it's not good, and Final Fantasy 7, they fuck that up too. Final Fantasy's done, man. It's over.
Yeah.
You can't do anything with that. You're going to have to put pause on it for like 10, 15 years before you
and
can
I hope they
do
would.
anything with
I
it.
really hope they would.
Oh, they
because
wouldn't.
they're obviously doing something wrong.
They wouldn't.
Do you know what I mean?
They don't listen. They don't listen.
They
to what
don't.
people
They
want
don't.
anymore.
They're doing something wrong.
After
They
every
need new
single
people in.
title, after every
Yeah.
single title they've brought out, the fans have gone, no.
Well, it's getting progressively worse, isn't it? I mean, they've kind of brought it back a little bit in some respects, but you know, it's like like you're saying, Final Fantasy 13 Part 2. You know, they've made improvements. Part 3, they've made some improvements, but it's the same old thing with Square and the studios in Japan. Is, you know, throw the baby out with the bathwater. They they make new good things and make new bad things. And you know, it's like, learn from your mistakes, just improve upon what you're doing, iterate upon what you're doing. You know, stop throwing everything out every time. I mean, that's part of the problem with this whole fucking game. It's been in development for 10 years, which is a joke. It's a fucking joke. You know, and it's because they kept throwing the game out every time. Why not just publish one of those games? Why not just put one of them out?
Yeah.
Why not just focus on one of them?
But it also, like, take away, like, the whole, like, Final Fantasy is like a game and stuff. It also makes it seem really fucking unprofessional. They can't even make one game worthy of selling in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, I get they're trying to, you know, live up to the Final Fantasy name and shit, but, like, it's going to make people think, like, what the fuck are you playing at? Like, just make a fucking game. Like, just, yeah, you know, out of all the ones that you've thrown away.
It's like they've remade it so many times, pretty much from scratch, with the same sort of ideology. And in between, 13 has been, like, wedged in the middle of it. It's like, you know, they probably should have just doubled down and put 15 out as whatever it was and just got it out there. But, you know,
probably why it's taking so long, because, like, if you've got, like, a basis of a game from, like, 10 years ago, and then you make a game and then you scrap it and then you take parts of that game to another one, you've got to keep constantly updating it to, like, now and, like, the things that are going now. If a new game comes out, obviously they're gonna have to compare it to that and try and make it better. Do you know what I mean? Like, so they're not only are they trying to make a new game, but they're also trying to keep up with the times and stuff. Like, a game that they made 10 years ago wouldn't work now.
It's a funny old thing, but the games that often do best are the ones that make minor changes.
Yeah.
Christ, look at Mario, look at Pokemon. The most minuscule changes every time. People buy them and love them.
I think it's a case, though, with those games, they came out and they already, for their audience, they were already on a winner, and it's a case of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Which, Final Fantasy...
Wasn't it like that before?
Final Fantasy doesn't get that. It's like, oh, our game's great, throw that away, let's make something else from scratch and ignore all that good stuff. They always did that, and they still continue to do that. Whereas something like Pokemon or Mario is like, oh, look at all the great stuff we did, let's take all that, put it into a new game. What has room for improvement, you know? And then they focus on those bits. It's like the solid foundation of Final Fantasy, you know, they never pass that on. They never take the skeleton from one game and push it into the next game, really. And if you think about it, the games where they did that are probably the most successful. Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, you know, even into 10 to some degree. They pushed a lot through that was very similar. It's more like iterations. And before that, in the even older generations, like 6 on, you know, 1 through to 6 or whatever, it's the same thing. It's very similar, like iterating upon the same concept and idea, and that's when their most successful periods were. So it's like, you know, that's what they need to do. I normally wouldn't say that with games. I'd say, you know, time to put some fresh ideas in games, mix things up a bit. A lot of games usually need to do that. Final Fantasy is not one of those games. So,
No.
you know, and this will reflect on Final Fantasy 7 without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, the hype's still going to be there because it's Final Fantasy 7. But if they do balls this up, it's going to be an issue. I'm hopeful that they won't. For me, the biggest, I think, in terms of how it will run and stuff, like frame rates and bugs and stuff, I think as long as it's not like a new, you know, Fallout New Vegas, like proper fucked up, eating your saves and doing all sorts of weird glitchy shit, I think I'll be alright with it. But the battle system for me is going to kill it. If it's real bad, I don't even know if I'll bother beating the game. Do you know what I mean? So that's an issue. I mean, Kingdom Hearts, I'd still be kind of hopeful for that. Kingdom Hearts 3. Because I think it plays quite different. But, you know, I'd be super worried about 7, personally. But, you know, the hype's still going to be there. Everybody's still going to be on that hype train. So, you know. So, yeah, again, it's like trepidation, but you know, I'm gonna try and be somewhat optimistic. But this little pushback worries me a little bit. Again, I'm rather they do it, but if they push it back into 2017, the joke's just gonna become too much, isn't it? It's gonna become too much. They have to hit this date. I mean, they had a big event all about pushing it to doing it in September. That was their big reveal and everything, and they've missed that. If they miss this one, any optimism's just going to go out of the window for me. So